Hey guys, it's the guy that always gets his power turned off in the summer. This is the third episode of my recent series I started, Metal Mixing 101. Today we're going to be talking about how to get a good balance in your mix and make everything just feel cohesive, glued, and, well, balanced. If you want to join my Discord server, you can do so, link in the description. But anyway, let's just get into it, waste no more time. I'm going to be using the same song as the last two episodes just to make it more cohesive. If you haven't watched those, this is what the song sounds like right now. Just real basic. So I went ahead and I turned down the volume a bit just because I unbalanced everything, and this is what it sounds like now. So nothing too drastically different at the moment. However, I'm going to show you a really easy trick that I do just to get a really good balance really fast, really easy, no second guessing. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn down the volume even more so it's pretty quiet. You might need to turn up your volume for this section, and we're just going to go through the instruments one by one, see what we want more of, see what we want less of. And the reason we're doing that is because when we're mixing at a loud volume, which is typically sort of not okay in general, but at least I do it all the time. I find that at lower volumes, it's much easier to hear balance and what's too present in the mix. So just to give an example, I'll turn it down just a little bit more, and then I will solo out the drums first. And then, so obviously those are pretty general drums. So I'm going to go on to the bass sub first, just because I want to nail the low end before anything. Just enough to hear it, and I'll do the same with the distortion. And what I'm looking for there is basically just at this stage making the bass sound how I would like a bass to sound. I'm not really going for specifics right now. Typically once I add the guitars back in, I like to mess with the bass grit track a little bit more just because it gives me more of an idea of how they're interacting with each other. So for example, I'll go turn on the guitars now. Way too loud. I'll get rid of the bass real quick. It's a little distracting, so keep that in mind as well. I'll turn up the guitars a little more. Just like that. When I'm balancing guitars with drums, I'm mostly looking specifically for the volume of the kick drum and the volume of the attack of the guitar. I want them to be as equal as possible, maybe one a little bit louder than the other, just because I like a really prevalent kick drum in my mixes. But moving back onto bass, I will just do the bus now. And I can now hear I want more grit, so I'll just balance accordingly. Perfect. So if I unsolo all of what I did and listen as a whole. Great. I am noticing I'm not hearing these little, I don't know what you would call that. So I'm just going to balance that in as well. So I'll raise the volume back to normal, lower your volume if you did turn it up, and we'll listen to it in its entirety. Great, it's not balanced. What happened? So I did notice I forgot to adjust the kick ultra sub that I do. Basically just an ultra low kick track. I'll bring that down. So while it's not balanced yet, lowering the volume did give me a good example on where things should be sitting based on what I have. And now since we have that general idea, we can just go back through and fix whatever we are hearing at a more listening volume and correct from there. When I was listening back to this, I did hear that the kick and snare were a bit too loud, which is a little strange considering I did not touch the volumes on those. However, to fix that, I will mess with the sub because I'm pretty sure the way I mixed this was frequency masking was carrying the whole mix. I was relying on it to basically cancel out some of the lower frequencies, and so keeping that in mind, we'll bring this up. So the kick and snare did lower in volume due to the frequency masking. I can go over that in another video in the future. Keep that in mind. And I'm noticing the guitars are feeling a little too quiet now. And just to reference, I'm going to pull down the volume one more time and make sure everything is still sitting all right. Sounds absolutely great to me, personally. That's all preference. I know there's a huge amount of low end, but I like that. While this was a quick video, and while I was making sometimes very minuscule changes to decibel values, it's not really something to get pinpoint accurate with, at least in video form. This was more just my demonstration on my method of just balancing a mix, bringing the volume down, getting an idea, bringing it back up to your normal listening level, and then just kind of referencing back and forth to see what's sticking and what's not. It is recommended that you do these steps before you do any mixing, just because balancing your mix in general, it'll give a complete different feel to your entire demo mix or song mix without even mixing. You're just balancing different levels, making sure everything is being heard where it needs to be heard, making space for things that need the space. It's going to make your mix feel a lot more complete without even touching any EQ, any compression, any whatever you have. When you balance a mix, that should be your top priority, is keeping that balance. So when you're adding EQs, when you're adding any volume to anything, make sure you're mitigating that by in either the output level or the input, whatever you have to do, because you don't want to lose track of that initial balance that you liked in the beginning. Anyway, this was a quick video. If you liked it, hit the like button. I hope it glowed this time. Subscribe if you want. As I said, I do have a Discord server. Link is in the description, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.